Hi friends, welcome back to the blog. Thank you for reading these blogs. Thank you for watching my videos. So today I'm talking a little bit about how to love yourself and love your body a little bit more so that you can reach the goals that you want to reach. What I find most important about that, and I know it's easier said than done. It's not easy to just, turn around if you have a lot of negative thoughts about yourself. It's not easy to just turn around and say, oh yes, I love myself today. It's definitely not that easy. But it's really important that you work on your negative thought patterns, because you're never going to feel good enough to do the things that are going to get you where you want to go if you feel terrible all the time. So, and the best example that I use, the one that I use all the time, is when you're having a fat day. Do you really feel like going to the gym? Do you really even feel like eating healthy when you're having a fat day? No. In fact, we do something that's totally, at least I do something that's totally counterintuitive. When I'm having a fat day, I tend to not want to work out and I want to eat more. So it's really imperative for me when I'm reaching, whether it's my business goals or my fitness goals, I have to feel good. And that means I have to do a lot of inner work. I have to do a lot of work on the thought processes that I have. And what I wanted to touch on today, because I touched a little bit on a few things in my actual blog post. So if you want to read more about my tips on how to be happier right now and love your body a little bit more right now, you can, I linked to it below in the comment section, so you can go to the blog post and read. But I wanted to touch on something else that I know a couple of other people have mentioned that they have issues with, or that they've experienced in the past, and I have as well, and that is dealing with negativity from other people. So a lot of times, I know many of you aren't just dealing with internal negativity, you're dealing with negativity that's coming from other people. And this can be a really tough thing. And I'll tell you a little story about something that happened to me several years ago. And actually, I was at one of the thinnest points in my life. I was about as lean as I had ever been. And I went to have lunch with a few friends. And one of these friends, I had worn a dress that was one of these maxi dresses that goes down to the floor, and it just had like a little bit of something, like a little bit of a pooch right there, or it kind of came out. So the dress, I can see where the dress maybe made me look like I was a few months pregnant or something like that. And one of the friends that I was eating with, she goes, "Oh my gosh, Kelly, are you pregnant?" And I was like, no, I'm not pregnant. And rather than just drop the subject, which is what she should have done, she continued to ask me, "Are you sure you're not pregnant? Maybe you should go home and take a pregnancy test. Are you sure?" It was almost like she wanted to cover up her faux pas by being certain that she was right and that I was pregnant, and I was not pregnant. It just happened to be that I was wearing a dress that made me look like I was pregnant, which I never wore that dress again after that. But in this situation, what I wish I had done was come out and say, I wish I had come out and said that, you're hurting my feelings by continuing to ask me if I'm pregnant when I have told you that I am not pregnant. And so it's really imperative that, I wish I had stood up for myself and said, that it's really not okay if you're not sure. Absolutely positive to ask somebody if they're pregnant. I think most women and most men know that too. Beyond that, it's, we have to be careful with all of our comments. And so another story I'll tell you, that this just happened the other day, and you don't realize the impact that your comments can have, and we all do it. So, it's really important to think before you speak, and we've all done this. But my daughter the other day, I had made her some noodles for dinner, and I had made a lovely red sauce, which I hoped she was going to eat. And instead of eating the red sauce, she was squeezing ketchup onto her noodles, which I found a little bit kind of gross. And rather than thinking before I spoke, I said, "Oh, that is so gross. I can't believe you're putting ketchup on your noodles." And she got really upset. Like, she started crying. And I felt really bad because I did exactly the thing that I don't like people to do to me. I don't like it when people comment on what I'm eating. I don't like it, I don't like it if somebody, makes a comment that they probably, if they have thought about beforehand, that they shouldn't have asked, like, "Hey, are you pregnant?" So we all need to not only watch our inner speak, but think before we speak to others. Comments that we may think are totally harmless can have deep and long-lasting impacts on other people. So I would say my tip for this, if you are really struggling with negativity and criticism that's coming from outside of you, you need to either restrict how much time you spend with the people that are causing that or that are feeding negativity into your life, or that are criticizing you. You need to spend as little time as possible with them, which sometimes isn't possible because maybe the person who's criticizing you is your husband, somebody that you live with. In that case, you need to stand up for yourself. And it's one of the hardest things to do. I totally understand that. But you need to, one of the most powerful things that you can do is stand up for yourself and say, "Hey, when you make comments about my weight or about my body or about the way that I eat, it doesn't help me make changes." And it doesn't. Criticism never helps anyone make changes. And so you need to stand up for yourself, or spend less time with those people who create negativity in your life and who sort of foster those negative thought patterns that most of us already have, because most of us are already our own worst critics. So anyway, I hope that this was helpful. If you want more information, more tips about loving yourself more, there are more tips in the blog post that I just wrote. So again, I have that linked below. You can check that out. And thanks for listening. I hope that you all have a great day. Bye.